I have one question for you around cybersecurity startups. As I mentioned, we both know it's hard. Startups are hard, but cybersecurity is hard too. What are some of the areas um, of like unique challenges that are in the cybersecurity space? I think sales is kind of one of them, like how you do it and how you approach it. Um, what's your advice for like cybersecurity startups?
Oh man, it's a great question, and I feel like I have a really good answer. Um, don't sound the same as everyone else. There's noise. Before sales, it's about positioning. It's about your product and how that product is positioned in the market. I think the times of selling by fear are done. It's not about fear anymore. It's not about if you don't buy this, you're gonna get hacked. Because now we're seeing that the buyer is very smart, and the buyer um, doesn't get fuzzled by AI and machine learning buzzwords. So it's not about that anymore. It's not about fear. It's not about AI. It's not about buzzwords. It's about, do you understand the problem I'm having, and do you have a solution that can help me solve that problem? And be able to articulate the solution to the customer's problem and the pain, and be able to talk to the right audience comes in your positioning and what story are you actually telling. And the advice for startups going into cybersecurity market, which is hard, is don't start with the AI and the machine learning and the accuracy 99.9999%. That's very like 2013. You know,
That's
our
awesome.
and I think our buyers deserve honesty. They deserve transparency. They deserve the fact that we have a team here that's trying to help you. This is the problem we identify. For other problems, you're going to need other solutions, and be more of a resource than actually a salesman. And that's the culture that we have on our company, which is we're here to help. We're an extension of your team. We can try to solve some of these problems. We cannot solve all of the problems, but we are here because we understand your frustration. And I think that's going to be the difference between the new upcoming cybersecurity startups and the legacy startups. It's about a different story, a different tone, and understanding that it's not longer a solution with nice, cool maps and charts. Just get to the problem, solve one problem at a time, and move forward, knowing that you're making the world a better place by solving some of these problems, not only selling a solution that's going to be in there for 6 months and they're going to throw it out.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's incredible advice, um, especially the point where like, you look at who's, quote, successful or been in the market for a long time, and you want to use the language they're using. You think that's the best way to do it because you're new to market, but you're absolutely right. You have to kind of generate your own, reason for existing and solution and explaining all of that. So I think that's good advice. And I think the second part is you nailed it because it's not just about making the sale. That's not the finish line. The the
Yeah.
finish line, the finish line is like, anyone who's had more than one startup knows like that's the starting line. That's like after you got in and now the software is up and working, like you got to make sure it works, you got to make sure it solves the problem, the client's happy, it's not out the door in 6 months, like you said. I think that's key.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And the customers they want to help, but they respect and value your honesty and transparency. And if you can deliver on something, the customer is okay understanding if not, but when, right? So
Right.
it's about building a good cybersecurity culture and startup culture to understand the customers first. We're here to help. And it doesn't matter what the deal size is for the contract size. What matters is, can you actually solve the customer's problem? And if true, then your company's going to grow by itself.
Yeah, I totally agree. So one question I had for you, like thoughts around this. Um, I've seen other people talk about it on Twitter, and it's like an idea that people are throwing around. So obviously, cloud has had this incredible success for obvious reasons and become superfluous. Do you think there's a scenario in the near future, next couple of years, where very large organizations will want to repatriate back to more on-premises when there's cost savings? Like you look at, Dropbox is the example they use. You can get at a scale like that, it's 20 to 30% on billions of dollars of savings is a lot of money. So do you think that's going to happen? Do you think companies, is the next cycle going to be repatriation to on-premises or own servers? And what is that going to mean for security? Does it change anything?
Um, it's I can tell you, I don't think I have the right answer to that. And but what I do know is velocity, right? How do you get velocity? And that is what, other than cost, which is a very big plus for the cloud. The cloud gives you velocity, and once you have a team trained on AWS, and if you look at the skills growing, and you bring in DevOps that are been touching it for 10, 5, 10 years now, and they can go very, very fast, is about velocity to go to market. So if you look at enterprises, what they're trying to do is to obtain their consumer within their industry. In order to obtain that consumer, you need to build really good cloud native mobile applications or regular applications, because you
Right.
want to win in your industry. So if you look at it from the business side, regardless of the infrastructure side, that velocity empowering the cloud. And I think that we've gone so far that I just don't see that happening. Regardless of the savings, what about if you continue to have that velocity when your market, and then the savings doesn't matter anymore? So I think the cloud is one, speed; two, security; and then three, cost. I think cost is the last thing you should look at it, because if you do have speed and security, now you can win your market. You can innovate in whatever you're doing, and if you do that securely, you're gonna have confidence. So if you're trying to save money in the cloud, it's great, and there's a lot of cost effectiveness there. But the innovative enterprises are trying to just make sure that speed and security are matched on a one by one, and I think that's going to be the future.
I think that's a really good point. I mean, now that they've spent years acquiring the talent who can use the cloud and utilize it fully, even if there was a change, it's going to take years to transition the
And
other
think
way.
about and think about an M&A activity. Large
Yeah.
enterprises buy companies every single day. They come in with all different clouds and different setups, and we are very deep into the game already.
That's problematic. You're right. Yeah. Awesome, Fausto. It was amazing talking to you. I really enjoyed the conversation. You can connect with Fausto on LinkedIn. We're going to share his link to his LinkedIn page, and also with his company, Secberus. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed the conversation.
It was my pleasure. Thank you so much for the invite, Amir. Thank you so much.